What's poppin', people? It's Dante going for a nice little hike here in the morning. What a beautiful way to start the day. And then you have the chaos of the urban city over there with all the traffic and chaos. Yeah, so today I'm thinking about alignment with nature. I don't necessarily think that when you align with nature, you necessarily have to be in a park like this, right? Like, I'm in a park, obviously I'm surrounded by nature, I'm surrounded by beautiful things. But actually we can align with nature from within. And I think this is maybe actually more important than simply spending time in fresh air in the park. I think the problem with modernity is we spend too much time in a cave, right? We spend too much time indoors in fluorescent lights. We spend too much time in the dark. And I spend the maximum amount of time outside in the open world with fresh air, with fresh spaces, open spaces. And this to me is what provides my life more meaning, and it also makes my body and my mind align with nature. And I think it's important to realize that what we perceive visually ultimately may determine a part of our reality. Obviously we have thoughts, we can think things into existence, we can have ourselves dwell in the past and make these memories come to life again and again and again through our minds. But I don't necessarily think that we're to blame for that. I think our thoughts maybe come to us and we're only responsible for responding to them. And so maybe in terms of aligning with nature, we should control what we have within our control. Maybe we are within control of our thoughts, we're in control of our bodies, and I think that's an empowering thought, right? So with your physical body, maybe positioning yourself somewhere under the sun, you know, somewhere in an open space, you know, that's something that's within your control, right? You don't necessarily have to confine yourself to the four corners of a room. You have the decision, you have the free will, you have the freedom of choice to step out the door. And so I spend all of my time outside. I spend all my time in open spaces because I personally can't be caged in. I don't like being locked away. I don't like being in the cave. And so when I come outside and I align with the sun and I'm out here under the beautiful open sky, I recognize that my mind and my body are connected, and I can have myself perceive the world around me in all of its beauty while shutting down my thoughts. Right now I'm making a video, I'm talking out loud, but actually to recognize that you can control your mind, you can control what you're thinking and perceiving in the world. I think it's a very empowering thing, right? Because we become so bombarded with news, media, celebrity gossip. We have so many thoughts rushing through us. We can maybe become anxious about the past or dwelling in the future. But actually, if you recognize the power that you have over your mind, over your body, you know, where you can eliminate certain thoughts, you can eliminate certain foods that you're consuming, you can start fasting, right? You can start eliminating more from your life. And I think through that process of elimination, you align with nature and your natural self. And so by recognizing what's in your control and what you can actually do in your everyday life to get there in alignment with nature is very, very important in my life. And I think it could help one other person. And so the simplest suggestion I have is to visit an elevated space, is to visit a park like this, is to spend the most time that you can outside under the sun. You know, for me, aligning with nature is not only a physical thing, but it is a mental thing, right? Where I can recognize the mind and the body and the connection between the two when I'm fasted. Because I have nothing digesting in my belly, I have a sharper, clear connection to my mind. But if I'm digesting food and I'm reading a book, I'm sluggish. I can't necessarily read it with clarity. But when I'm fasted, everything is so much laser sharp and focused. And I think that is how you align with nature, is through removing foods, removing things from your life, removing you from the actual cave itself, from the indoors, and going outside and exploring, and not necessarily keeping yourself caged in within your mind, within your body. You know, for this world is so open and there's so many possibilities. And you know, I think that this life of ours, while it is very short and we will and must die, you know, to go outside is the most fundamental way to experience more joy in life. And is that necessarily such a bad thing after all, to experience joy, to experience the feeling and sensation of the cold, crisp winter air on your skin? You know, I think when you go inside and you blast the heater, wow, you're not going to see this beautiful big bird fly by. You know, when you're inside and you're watching the TV, you're just watching shadows flickering on the screen. So let's get out of the cave, right? Let's go outside and enjoy the fresh air. Let's align with nature from within and without our, you know, within our bodies and within the external world around us, right? Where, you know, being stuck in traffic in a vehicle, that's not natural. Do we have to do it? It's your decision. You know, maybe we just need to pay more attention to the choices that we make and recognize that maybe in this modern world, we actually are out of tune. We actually are out of alignment. And our goal as humans is to evolve. And maybe the less that we're aligned with nature, the more out of alignment that we are, well, the evolutionary journey of the human being on the DNA, on the cellular level, like literally down to the tiniest aspect of our physiology, is going to be out of alignment. And maybe the evolution of our body, of our mind, of our soul is going to go in reverse. But let's go up instead of down. Let's smile instead of frown.